I did not watch the anime, so I don't know how old she is, but she is definitely flatter than even myself. Hi and welcome back to the channel. It is early January, so yeah, time of the month again to look back at the figures released in the previous month, this time around December 2023. As usual, we'll go through the normal scale figures first, and then there are the 1x4 scales, the low cost pop-up rate, Tenitals, Figure Arts 0 maybe, and then we take a look at figures with no specific release dates, and finally, the re-releases, the older stuff that came out again. Okay, the first one over here from Max Cute, a Japanese figure brand that is making original art characters at quite a large scale. They have 1x7, they have 1x6 as well, but their figures are quite reasonably priced. So I'm quite curious about this brand over here. This one, original character Mask Shoujo Yuna, came out on 31st for only 17,500 yen. Yeah, simple figure and under 18k, more like 20,000 yen including taxes, but still I think that is an okay price for this figure. Could have been a bit cheaper if that is the sort of base you're getting, which is just a small black plastic base. Like, how much does it cost them to give us that base? 50 cents, right? But yeah, I really should stop complaining about bases too much, but I really need to call it out when I see something. Okay, so with face mask figures, right, it certainly became a trend since the pandemic. I mean, since you are going to wear it on your face most of the time when you go out, then might as well turn it into something fashionable. And Astrum Design really popularized these face mask original characters, and then now we have more and more artists doing similar art, so you get figures of them, and honestly, I don't hate them at all. They are quite nice to look at, and they offer this contrast, this difference, like among many of your existing anime figures, how many of them has a face mask on? Not many, right? So they are a good addition to anyone's collection. Of course, this came out literally days ago. We don't have user pictures yet. Colors is a bit bland, but hey, still looks pretty nice anyway. Okay, moving on to the next one. We have two figures from Evangelion, Ayanami Rei, Whisper of Flower version by Mietos, and of course Asuka as well right here from the same series. 1,000 Chinese yuan each, or you can get the bundle set for a 100 Chinese yuan discount. In Japan, 24,500 yen each, which is, yeah, it is stupid expensive really. If you can get these figures from China, of course from Taobao, then you'll save quite a bit, because 1,000 Chinese yuan is around, well, I'm too lazy to do the conversion over here, but I don't think it is more than 20 or 21,000 yen, so I'm still saving 15-20% worth of money if you can get it from China. Well, there are so many figures of Ayanami Rei and Asuka, but these two are not really my kind of thing. I still prefer what Hobby Max did with the casual outfit. If I were to go for something more on the fashion side of things, this type of floral dresses, as I call it, not really my kind of thing. Moving on to the next one, oh boy. I did not pre-order this one. I want it really badly, but we will see when will I get to purchase one sometime in year 2024. Mikamo Naru from Blue Archive. I think I have spoken about this figure like 4 or 5 times by now, including Figure News Fix and Best Figures of the Year video. Yeah. Let me simplify things over here. Lolly, I love lollies. And then Tsundere face expression, bunny outfit with jacket, and that bar stool over there, which looks like a barber stool, a hairstylist stool as well. Yeah, I love this combination. This is something really unique. And I don't know if the price will ever drop. 22,500 yen before taxes. I would be happy to buy this at MSRP price, official price, as long it does not go up, right? I'm not sure whether it will drop, but even if it doesn't, I will still pick up one eventually. Yeah. Moving on to the next one from Persona 5, we have Takamaki and 1x6 scale corset dress version by Felino. Okay, Felino, this one 20,000 yen, which is an okay price once again. Like, figures nowadays, the pricing are starting to stabilize. Oh, are you a fan of thicker girls, or do you prefer something really slender? I don't hate slender bodies like this. Actually, I love slender legs a lot. Yeah. But this one is a bit too skinny. Let's be honest over here. This is borderline anorexic, but still this is the art style of the franchise, of the series, understandable. Oh, still smoking hot to me though. I think there was a third party brand, I can't remember the name anymore, that did a 1x4 scale of Takamaki, and I do admit I want that really badly, but that was like 600 plus US dollars. Is this worth picking up? Absolutely. Like Felino, while I don't know anything about the figures by this brand, but this thing for 20,000 yen isn't too bad, right? Yeah. Persona series certainly does not get as many figures as Azalane or GFL Girls Frontline, but they still get good stuff from time to time, and there is no stopping from the looks of it. So might as well pick up one if you like Takamaki N. Moving on to the next one, this is the biggest, the main highlight release of December, and I kind of regret that I did not put this figure into my best figure of the year list, at least for the special mention section, because there are no user pictures yet. And if I were to buy an Arknights figure today, this would be it. I would be happy with this one single figure by Alter, this figure of Schwarz, which goes for almost 45,000 yen including taxes, which is insane, but I think it is worth it if Alter did not mess up anything with this figure. At least I'm seeing only one metal rod, at least in the product pictures, right? In the actual product, in the final product, we don't know how many extra metal rods will appear. Hopefully no more than this one over here. And boy, I'm not sure how huge this figure is. I mean, MFC may tell you the dimensions of the figure already in the figure specs, but what you experience when you get the figure in person, when you see it in person, is totally a different thing from trying to imagine the size based on the numbers given, right? And yeah, you need a crap ton of space to display this thing, but despite the very fact that this thing is going to take up a lot of space, I still want one, right? This is going to make it into my wish list for year 2024, where there will be a separate video for that. Ooh. Now let's have a look at the comments section for some entertainment on those complaining about the shipping cost and also whether she fits in a D12. Yeah, there you go. Does she fit in a D12? And I calculated a total of 150, presumably US dollars, for shipping to France with customs. I can't justify 450 for this figure. 150 for shipping, including custom fees. Well, if that is inclusive of 20+% of VAT, I think that it's not too bad yet. Only DHL for Spain, 200 euros. Wow. And here, for USA, the DHL is 18,000 yen, EMS 12,200 yen, Surface Mail Premium 6,400 yen. Okay, I think we already have a rough idea on how massive this thing is. What is the dimensions again? 40 centimeters, including the bow, of course, all the way to the top of the bow over there. 40. So that is about 1/3 of the height. Yeah, this is indeed 1/7 scale. I am estimating the main figure, not including the base and that huge bow over there, to be around 25-26 centimeters. You add on the height from the base and that crossbow, yeah, 40 centimeters. I want it so badly, man. The next one, NSF. Well, that W over there is not woke, it's woke, not safe. For those who are very woke. Zetai, Junpaku, Maho Shoujo, Kuramoto, Erika. 25,400 yen came out on 27th December. Well, 25k, 26k or so for a figure by Native. And moreover, Raita artwork, that is something really subjective. I don't want to repeat myself too much. Never been a fan of Raita's body proportions with the figures. But still, I bought a figure of Minamoto no Raiko from FGO because it is FGO, right? Okay, moving on to the next one. Moving on to the next one over here. Atelier Raiza, Rizalin stock, Amakuni and Ami. There has been so many figures of Raiza that I have forgotten which company made which one. I only remember Max Factory did a 1/6 scale because that is a 1/6. It is something special. Those sitting pose. This one by Ami is also 1/6, but I have forgotten about this one. 30,000 yen, including taxes. More than 30,000 yen actually. Seriously, man, you see that right foot over there? That plastic rod was so unnecessary. All they had to do is to add a single piece of rock over there and plug the leg into the rock. Problem solved. But they just had to do that nonsense. I have no idea why. Of course, thighs verified to be a 10 out of 10 rating. So you might want to pick one up if you love her thighs, right? And I mean, this figure showcases her thighs really well. Oh, 30k is pricey, but Amakuni, I know that sometimes they mess up their figures, but most of the time my experience with them, like 9 out of 10 times I buy the figure, they turn out to be really great. With Amakuni, I know once in a while they mess up their figures, but like 9 out of 10 figures I bought from them are excellent. Only one had QC issue, so I would still give them a chance. Yeah, 30k is not cheap, but this is 1/6 scale at 29 centimeters, so she is quite big. Yeah, quite a big figure. I don't think the price is too bad. Moving on to the next one from Wings Incorporated, we have Azalane Penelope at 1/7 scale salty maid version. So she is salty about something. I'm not too sure what, but that face doesn't look salty to me. You see, one thing I have never liked about Azalane and also Kantai collection is, to me, having battleship parts attached to the back of an anime girl, a bishoujo girl, looks really weird to me. I just couldn't get over this concept. But if you were to remove all those ship parts from these girls and then figures like this and many other third parties as well, hey, I wouldn't mind having, right? So this is really nice. 26,000 yen, right? What was the price again? Oh, 20,000 yen only. Only 20,000 yen. This is a good buy, especially given the props you're getting. That potted plants, a stack of books, and what appears to be a signboard for a cafe. This is, well, just imagine yourself buying a cafe made figure for 20k. And this is a good price for what you're getting. Of course, the main clincher over here is the face expression. That is the best part. Of course, the best part about this figure is the face expression, where she is like pulling off her gloves with her mouth. I like that a lot. Something subtle yet different from many other figures. No user pictures yet. The next one here, this figure brand, Hakoiri Musume, Japanese brand, and they are bundling the figures they make with a small diorama for only 25,000 yen. So this is a brand I am keeping an eye on. Yeah, this is great value. It does not have to be a very detailed figure, which doesn't look like one to me, like not very detailed, but that is fine. This is 1/6 scale. Think about that for a second. It is like buying those Hot Toys figures, which cost $300, $400, and their props, their dioramas and backgrounds you need to buy separately, which cost you a lot more. This set over here for 24k before taxes. Really good price. Oh, the door can be opened. That is brilliant. And that blurry plastic over there looks like acid etched glass you see being used in bathroom. They are very opaque, but still offer you a bit of glimpse of what is behind that door, so that you try really hard to pick at your girlfriend who is taking a bath, like what happens in most anime, right? Moving on to the next one, we have AZA 1/7 scale by Wing Company. I think this series of AZ figures, right? Miatos made a few. Was it Miatos or Apex? And they were really cheap, like 16,000, 18,000 yen. Here, Wing is doing some as well, but this is really expensive for 34,750 yen. Even with that huge blade she is standing on, is this worth 34k? I really don't know, man. I'm not sure how to decide. Very attractive because I am naturally attracted to science fiction stuff, but including the base and the sword, 34k, I think this should be under 30k. 29, 30k is fine. 34, 35k before taxes is a bit high in my opinion. 42.5 centimeters tall, right? But that is all the way to the top of the handle. This is not really a very big figure, to be honest. Yeah. However, definitely something very different from the rest, right? Moving on to the next one from Girls Frontline with WA 2000 1/7 scale by QSQ. Came out on Christmas for 26,000 yen. Yeah, I think I remember complaining about this figure. Initially, I thought this was by Fat Company, but it was Skill. That is great news. But the way she is holding the rifle, I'm not too sure. That thing weighs like 15 or 20 kilos, right? And she is holding it single-handed like that. Like how you hold a plastic bag of groceries. I know these girls, they are not human, right? They are more like androids. Or that's the gist I got when I watched the anime adaptation, which was terrible. One of the worst anime I watched in year 2023. Yeah, I think they are androids, but still, despite being exceptionally strong because they are not human, to me, holding a rifle like that is just really weird, right? I just couldn't get over it. Still a really good subject for figure photography. Like, this photo looks great, right? Great for figure photography because of the simplicity, but I don't think I will ever get over the way she is holding that rifle over there. Yeah. Moving on to the next one from Takagi-san Season 3. I did not watch this anime at all, not even from Season 1. Takagi-san 1/6 scale One Piece dress version by Fat Company. Now, this is something very casual and something very photogenic, but I'm not sure if I will ever buy something like this. Like, the character, I'm not a fan of the character design, but still, as you can see from these sample photos, this is a great subject for us photographers. I did not watch the anime, so I don't know how old she is, but she is definitely flatter than even myself. Okay, nice color. I like that really gentle light blue color combined with the base, the green color grass base. I think it looks really nice. If I can get this figure for really cheap, I might consider, just for the sake of photography. This is only 14,300 yen before taxes, but I am hoping that I can get it for even lower than that. I am such a cheapskate, right? Moving on to the next one, Megami-sama Bell Dundee. Wow, this is really old. I think this is from the 1990s. 1/8 scale by Hobby Max, 28,500 yen. So over 30k including taxes. Yeah, with the exception of Digimon, I don't really like 1990s stuff in general. So this is a natural skip for me. 28,500 yen and 1/7 scale with that base and those, what do you call that? Is that cherry blossom? Oh, I see. A plastic rod. Okay. So in a way, this figure is floating in mid-air and it has to be supported with a plastic rod, but it was done in such an artistic way that I could totally overlook it and accept the figure the way it is, right? Like, it is not so plain obvious into your face kind of plastic rod right in front of the figure, you know. This is like, it blends in very nicely with the figure. So I am okay with plastic rods like this, to be honest. The next one here, another AZ original character, F01, made by Alumina, which I know nothing about. Once again, so many new companies nowadays. And from the looks of it, the AZ universe is really large, many different characters, and they are splitting the workload to multiple different companies, which is normal practice actually. Like this FGO is an excellent example, but putting that aside, go back 5 years, 8 years ago, right? What was this franchise again? I think it was Hyaka Ryoran and also the Seven Sins, right? Like half of the number of figures of these Seven Sins characters will be made by Orchid Seed and the other half will be made by Hobby Japan and Amakuni. So this is nothing new really. 27,000 yen. I have no idea why this thing is 27,000 yen. This is not worth that much. Yeah, 27k is really overpriced for this one. And the price inconsistency is really odd considering that either Metos or Apex made these AZ figures for less than 20k, and here we have Elomina, which I don't know anything about, making a plain and simple figure in Verka pose, which is what I call version Hajime Katoki. You see Gundam model kit box art, right? Any Verka Gundam kits, the Gundam on the box art will be just standing there doing nothing like that, which is why I call it Verka pose. Just because they want to show you the details on the main body of the Gundam, so they don't want to put it in any extreme poses. So a Verka pose anime figure for 27k, no. This is not worth 27k. Do not buy this one unless you absolutely need to collect every character from this series, or you are able to find it for a huge discount, of course. Moving on to the next one. Okay, this figure nearly made it into my best figure of the year list, but she missed out because Makise Kurisu and that Hosho Marine, those two were simply better. That is it, right? But among all Uma Musume figures, this is among the very best looking ones. Mihono Bourbon, Chestnut Cyborg by Good Smile Company, out on Christmas as well, 24,000 yen before taxes, no user pictures yet. The main figure is really good looking, but I'm not sure what to say about the base and especially those circle ribbon thing behind her. I'm not sure what to think about it. I think the base is really unique, but at the same time, I'm not sure if I am a fan of the base design. I guess this is purely subjective by now. Yeah. When I make figure news fix videos pretty much every week, you could say that I've seen so many figures already, at least their product pictures, not necessarily the actual product. But having seen so many Uma Musume figures, this is definitely among the best looking ones out there, right? Let's hope Good Smile does not mess up this figure. I don't think they will. Moving on to the next one. Okay, this is something really rare. And I don't mean RAM figures are rare, but RAM in a normal maid outfit like the OG RAM, the original RAM, a RAM that has not been bastardized in any way, like giving her Santa Claus outfit, what else, Joker outfit. Doesn't matter what outfit you can think of, a bikini, a swimsuit or anything. This is like original RAM in her work maid outfit. And figures like this, figures of RAM in her original design, is so rare nowadays that I'm surprised this thing actually came out in year 2023 for the first time. Like, this is not a re-release, right? But Wing Company just did so with this 1/7 scale figure of RAM. And I can't say I like this one at all. I own the Good Smile Company RAM and RAM, the very first two figures where, yeah, the RAM can change faceplate into her demon version. With the, what do you call that, mace, with that mace. I have that Good Smile figure which was around 9,000 yen only the first release, and when she was re-released the second time, around 11,000 yen. I have that pair of figure of RAM and RAM, and I am already content with those two. I don't need more figures of RAM and RAM. So this one coming out in year 2023 for 23,500 yen feels very overpriced, given that I paid 9,000 yen for the Good Smile version, but that was 10 years ago, right? 10 years ago, let's assume the Japanese yen depreciated by 50%, then that would make the Good Smile figure about 15 or 16,000 yen. Definitely not 23k or 24k, right? So this one is, yeah, pretty overpriced for what it is. Moving on to the next one, we have a 1/7 scale Hatsune Miku 15th anniversary version by Good Smile. Once again, 40,000 yen, and one could easily see why, but holy my eyes feel so painful when I look at this figure. Like, I'm not sure what to see first. Look at her face first, or to look at her dress first, or whatever she is holding in her right hand, or what are the ornaments on her hair. This looks to be a really heavy figure, and I would not be surprised if there are 2 additional plastic rods supporting her hair. Hopefully not, but I won't be surprised if there is any. Yeah, this figure, yeah, I know, it is amazing. Like, an incredible amount of details for 40,000 yen. But man, my eyes feel so painful just from looking at this figure of Miku. I think it is too over the top, if I have to be honest. Yeah. Moving on to the next one, from BNHA, we have Aizawa Shota, Kotobukiya Art FXJ at 1/8 scale. Kotobukiya and Takara Tomy. 21,600 yen before taxes, out on 25th as well. Everyone is releasing figures on Christmas. How do you expect people to get their stuff as sort of a self-purchased Christmas present when they come out on Christmas Day, right? Yeah, it is what it is, I suppose. 2 different heads, that is nice for 21,000 yen, but if you watch my channel, you already know I have no interest in figures like this. I am covering it simply as an obligation because I'm doing figure news. Moving on to the next one. NTW20. Aristocrat Experience Service by Good Smile and Pony Canyon. Okay, 27,800 yen is expensive, not overpriced, but expensive given that huge sniper rifle over there. I'm not a weapons nerd, right? Is that like anti-material, anti-armor rifle? I don't know, but it does look like one. Do you know what is the best thing about this figure that made me want her so badly? That Hideo Kojima sipping tea face while watching his superiors, his boss further up, the board of administrators, the CEOs and so on, effing up in an epic manner because they did not listen to your advice in the very beginning. Yeah, that photo, which is a famous meme by now, that Hideo Kojima sipping tea face, and this figure is like a replica of it in some way, and that is why I love this figure so much. I am a huge meme enthusiast myself. Look at that, man. This figure puts a smile on my face every time I see it. And given that Good Smile had a hand on this figure, at least I do think they won't mess up the face. Quality control is the different matter altogether. Let's hope nothing happens. But with figures made by Good Smile, usually they will get the faces done right. So I won't be worried about that. Oh, there are two user pictures. Let's have a look. Here we have one. Well, based on this one single user picture, which is not even in focus actually, I can't really conclude anything from this photo over here. It does not look to be as detailed as the official product pictures, but then again, this is a very low quality picture, so I wouldn't take too much conclusions from this picture over here. At least the rifle looks great though. Yeah. We need more pictures, we need more user pics. There are only two by the same user. Move on to the next figure over here. From Shumatsu no Harem, we have Suo Mira at 1/6 scale. From Union Creative, you know, as a big fan of ecchi stuff and also harem stuff, I am surprised that I have not yet watched this anime. Yeah, I downloaded the whole thing already, torrents, Banzai Piracy, but I'm keeping it for myself. I torrented the whole thing and I have not yet watched it when I really should. Instead, I went and rewatched High School DxD instead because I love Koneko-chan so much. 18,000 yen is a great price, really, at 1/6 scale. But then, you know, normally this kind of sitting pose figures, they tend to appear smaller than it actually is, right? And that is the one thing I don't like about them. But you can't really say you don't want to collect sitting pose figures ever, because that would mean your figure collection is lacking in variety. Next one, 1/7 scale Ayanami Rei from Evangelion movie, long hair version by Good Smile, 24,300 yen before taxes. So this is very expensive for a Good Smile figure. You see, Good Smile could make a 1/7 scale Noel Shirogane figure in swimsuit with a float and all those water splash effect parts, which came out in November for only 18,000 yen. Why is this thing, same scale, going for 24,000 yen before taxes, which is more like 26k plus? Doesn't make much sense, right? Other than potential licensing cost. And for that reason alone, even though this figure is very attractive, I still find her to be attractive in long hair, even though I prefer short hair version. I would say this figure would bargain bin a few months after release. Wait for it before picking one up. Yeah, don't buy it too early. There is nothing wrong with this figure, nothing wrong at all. The only issue is the official price tag, which is way too high for what it is. Moving on to the next one, Kotobukiya Art FXJ. Again, we have Hikari and Naetoru from Pokemon. 12,000 yen, right? Yeah, there you go. These Pokemon figures are almost always fixed at 12,000 yen. Maybe unless the Japanese yen slides again in the future. I think the price will remain constant at this range also. For Pokemon fans, but not me, right? Okay, moving on to the next one. Okay, this figure made it into my best figure of the year list for affordable figure section. But quick mention for today, 5,200 yen, you're getting 1/6 scale of this figure of Lilith by Animaster, Chinese brand. This is just their first low-cost 1/6 scale figure. There are many to come in year 2024 and I am really looking forward to them. Yeah. While the new ones are a bit more expensive, they are like 7,000 to 8,000 yen, that is still fine. That is still fine, I will still buy them. Okay, so this one, the outfit, the body design and everything looks a bit like price figure like, but I think the skill makes up for it, and her eyes are really sparkly. So this is a good figure to have if you are interested in her. Moving on to the next one, we have Golden Darkness, Konjiki no Yami, 1/6 skill by Gugu Department, Mimeyoi and Union Creative. 25,000 yen out on 23rd of December. Well, I'll tell you to go and pre-order the re-release by Outer for only 18,000 yen. Sure, that is 1/7 skill, but that Outer version is so much better because she is in a nurse outfit and she is hugging hugging that giant syringe over there for 18,000 yen, Outer. That figure became very rare. She goes for 30 to 40,000 yen in the aftermarket, and now she is being re-released for 18,000 yen. Why would you buy a slightly taller version at 1/6 scale where Yami is wrapped in only white towel at 25,000 yen, right? No, go for the Outer one, save 7,000 yen. Yeah. Moving on, the next one we have Marin Kitagawa swimsuit version. I wanted this figure, right? There are way too many figures to buy. Blue Archive, Marin Kitagawa, third-party resins, and there are so many FGO figures waiting for me to be purchased. And yeah, and once again, that 45,000 yen Arknights figure earlier by Outer. I think that one would be my priority over anything else, even this Marin Kitagawa over here. But to me, this Marin Kitagawa figure is so much better than the first release by Aniplex where she is in her school uniform. This is so much better. This figure over here is based on what we saw in the anime where she is measuring her body to make a custom cosplay outfit. And yeah, all those futon and tatami mat, everything is included, which is really great. I think this is the best genuine Marin Kitagawa figure so far. Up to this point, until more that are being released in future, right? This is the best one so far. 20,000 yen, excellent pricing. Though I am afraid that if you start looking for one now, yeah, the prices might be a bit higher than official asking price. Unless Aniplex thought well ahead of time and overproduced this thing, then maybe the price will stabilize or even become lower. Being an Aniplex exclusive really does not mean anything at all, to be honest, right? They are not difficult to find after release. Like, just stalk Mercari or Mandarake and they tend to appear at some point. Yeah. Up next, from Fantasy Star Online 2 ES, we have Jean, or is it Genie? I'm not sure how to pronounce it, since I don't play the game. There is an anime adaptation which I think I should watch it. I have a copy as well on my hard disk, but I haven't watched it yet. Summer Vacation by Seoul International, and even if this figure is going only for 18,000 yen, I would say no, the face on this one isn't really good. Like, this figure looks really amateurishly sculpted in my opinion. If you want a figure of her, the one I would recommend is the one by Kotobukiya, assuming that you can find her for a decent price. Wow, there are many figures of her. I did not realize there were so many. I think this is the one right here. Yes, this is the best figure of her so far, out of so many versions. I wouldn't mind having this figure in my collection. Seriously, this looks really good from Kotobukiya. And yeah, there are plenty of user pictures, 61 of them for you to refer. Not to mention, this is only 17,000 yen, came out in July. 17,000 yen for this, right? Look at all the details on her outfit and then you compare it to the one by Seoul International for 18,000 yen where she is barely wearing any cloth on, right? Yeah, this is bad value, don't buy it. Moving on to the next one, original character, Uzuka Baniko. Okay, really nice name, Baniko. 1/6 scale by Ami, Test, and Vertex. I think Vertex is the manufacturer over here. Okay, 26,000 yen is a bit pricey for a 1/7 scale, really, but I love the colors on this figure. This is like the second or third time I've covered this figure as well. Like yellow and purple or violet, they are an excellent color combination no matter how I look at it. Original character, I suppose, right? Should be an original character. Yep, it is. Moving on to the next one. Okay. Oh, we have that Tokyo Revengers logo. Okay, that symbol over there. You know, it is, I mean, people get offended by that logo so easily, but let me chip in my own bit of opinion over here, right? I think this is not just an opinion, it is a fact. You see that logo which was used by Germany before and during World War II, it is rotated by 45 degrees. Yeah, diamond shape like this. And this symbol that is not rotated, it is actually a Buddhist symbol. It is a religious symbol, right? So they are actually different. Not that people who get offended easily on the internet would even understand in the first place. They mean completely different things, right? Okay, back to topic. Ryoguji Ken, statue and ring style 1/8 skill by freeing 1/8 skill. Alright, this thing is expensive. Yeah, expensive, 30,000 yen. But what you need to know is that in the box, a ring is included. A gold-plated ring. I don't know how many carats, but that certainly contributed to the pricing of this figure. So for 30,000 yen, I would say not too bad really, given what you are getting in the box. And the same can be said for this figure of Sano Manjiro, right? Tokyo Revengers is very popular among the girls because you get all these tough, handsome guys in the anime. I only watched season 1. Season 2, I did not watch it at all. But I did enjoy season 1. How many of you guys out there are actually buying Tokyo Revengers stuff? Let me know if you do. They are good buys, no problems at all. But I am not very familiar with Freeing's 1/8 skill. Like, are they any good? 10 years ago, they did this 1/8 scale yukata figures, but those are history already. They no longer do that nowadays. For female characters, they focus on 1/4 scales. Moving on to the next one from girls, Frontline with STG 940 by Union Creative, 25,000 yen, out on 20th. Okay, 29 centimeters, but that is including the rifle, of course. She is more like 24 or 25 head height. Well, generic looking girls Frontline figure, isn't it? Nice addition to anyone's collection, but it felt a bit too generic to me. Yeah. I love her outfit though. This military uniform feel over here, I don't hate it. Just that the face of this figure is really weird, don't you think? It has been bugging me for a while. The moment I started scrolling across the pictures of this figure, there is something really weird going on the face, but I'm not sure how to put it into words. Are her eyes a bit too far apart, or is this just a matter of camera angle? I'm not too sure at this point. Yeah, from this higher angle, same thing. And what other angle do we have? When zoomed out, it looks fine, right? When zoomed out, it looks fine. But in these closer-up pictures, something is bugging me. I'm not too sure. Maybe I'm just over-interpreting things over here. Like, there's nothing wrong. That is what she looks like. Okay, moving on to the next one. Not safe for, once again, Walk. Original character Skytube Amamiya Rin. 1/6 scale, which I could only show her face, unfortunately. But this thing is, oh... The body proportions on this figure is 10 out of 10. This is really nice, right? Just search for Amamiya Rin in myfigurecollection.net and look at the pictures. Just check out the pictures. Even official product pictures, even you will want this figure after just looking at this figure. That is all I can say over here. 23,000 yen is excellent value. Up next, another GFL figure. So many of them December, SAT8. 1/7 scale heavy damage version by Fat Company. 22,500 yen before taxes, out on 18th of December. So what Fat Company is going to do over here is that they'll give you some paint bleeding, some paint scratches, some ugly gaps, and on top of that, they're going to introduce some defect on those objects surrounding her waist, which looks incredible, at least in these product pictures. And then when you complain about the quality control issues, they tell you, what did you expect? We call it heavy damage version for a reason. We have pre-damaged the figure for you in advance so that, yeah, just as advertised, we call it heavy damage version. Joking aside, I like the character design on this one. Like, it is quite unique for what it is, but I don't think I want to collect girls' Frontline stuff. I would rather focus on Goddess of Victory Nikkei at this point if I want something firearms related. Nikkei and also Blue Archive. I think that is my focus for now. Moving on to the next one. Jusan Kihei Bowei Ken. From a game, if I'm not mistaken, this is a game. Fuyusaka Iori 1/7 skill by Alter, 18,800 yen. So this is about 21k including taxes, right? Out on 18th. Now with very simple figures like this is just plain JK, right? I don't hate it at all. In fact, I love them for being extremely natural looking, right? Very relatable at times. And remember that I know nothing about the game she originated from. I don't even know whether it is an RPG game, first person shooter game or anything. I don't know anything at all, right? But the image, the impression I'm getting from looking at this figure and the base over there, it feels like what you'll see in God Eater, for example, or even Cross NG if you watch the anime. Post-apocalyptic style world building, and we have ruins of buildings everywhere, trashed buildings everywhere, and then she is one of the main heroines fighting for survival, fighting against aliens or whatnot, or against science fiction style thing, That is the kind of image I'm getting. And when you talk about ruins, post-apocalyptic stuff, I love them so much, and I would love to photograph figures in this setting. This is not too different from those AZ figures earlier in the kind of vibe they're giving out. Yeah. So this is really nice for 18k, and I won't buy this at 18,000 yen, but if I could get it for a huge discount, I could get it for less than 15k. 12 to 15k, I might consider. I would consider it as an artist and as a photographer, right? Moving on to the next one from the Idolmaster Cinderella Girls Kurosaki Chitose by Wave and Dreamtech. 1x7 skill, 26,300 yen before taxes, out on 15th of December. So she is playing the vampire. That Chunibyo tendency where she believes she is a vampire. Am I right? Not my kind of thing. Like the character design, I'm not a fan of it. And 26,000 yen, 1x7 skill, it is on the expensive side as well. This could have been cheaper, but I don't know what the IP cost for Idolmaster is like, because it feels like a lot of Idolmaster figures are like slightly above average in pricing, slightly more expensive, right? Moving on to the next one over here. I thought I was looking at Roxy Migodia, but no, this is Suirei Sukai area from Yu-Gi-Oh! 1x7 skill by Kotobukiya. This is going for 18,000 yen, out on 15th December. That is Roxy Migodia, man. Anyways, I've told you guys before, I am super outdated with Yu-Gi-Oh! And then one of you replied in my comments saying that, yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh! Nowadays has a lot of Bishoujo girls. So it is what it is. Moving on to the next one. Okay, we have Original Creators Collection Sinful Saint Sister Aisha by Native and Pink Cat at 1x6 skill, 30,700 yen. Oof, this is pretty pricey. Can I click on the picture? Let's give it a go. Okay, at least this picture is safe to be shown on screen. Now, one of the major themes of mature rated figures in year 2023 is nuns, sisters, right? Maybe the more you buy these figures, you'll feel like their father, right? They'll call you daddy or something. No idea. Okay. One thing that really impresses me with these nun figures, these sister figures, is that the artist behind these characters, I am actually really impressed with the creativity. Like the kind of design they come up with for the outfits of these nun-inspired figures, they are really unique. They are not anything I've seen before, and it got me thinking, how did you guys even come up with an idea for an outfit design like this in the first place? So this is the one thing I really respect artists for, right? Their imagination, their creativity. This one, is it a good buy even at over 31,000 yen? Yes. Native stuff in general are a good purchase. The next one, we have a pair of Bunny Girl figures at 1x6 scale by Enso Toys, where you can get one single figure for 22,000 yen, or you can get both for 43,000 yen as a pair, right? And for me, this pair of figures, yeah, the other one over here, the problem here is simple. Not that I can blame the figure brand behind these figures, is that the proportions look kind of off. Like their legs are really long and the head is really small. But then again, this is probably just the art style of whoever that drew this pair of characters. Of course, they look great together when displayed together. Their pose will complement each other, but I see them only as plain bunny girl figures, which is not too different from what Free Ink has been doing. So I'm not sure if I am attracted to this pair of figures at all. Moving on to the next one, we have Mizuhara Chizuru from Grant's Girlfriend by CA Works Party Dress version. Right, so this one is only 17,500 yen. The dress is just plain black, but at least at the very edges at the bottom, yeah, it is semi-translucent. Is it cast-offable? You see this huge seam line is so unsightly that the only reason I could think of is because of cast-off features. Otherwise, it would be really terrible. There you see over here along the side of the figure. Let me show you guys. Yeah, here. Right, you see that line along the side? That is a really obvious line over there. But I don't think this figure is cast-offable at all. That is a bit too obvious. I know, with dresses or any clothes, there are these, what do you call it, sewing lines along the side. I know that, right? All those stitching lines, but that is a tad bit too obvious to my liking, right? These figures, they are made from different parts being glued together. But still, these seam lines, right, they really tell you the level of craftsmanship. No, from the looks of it, this figure is not cast-offable. And that is not a good look for this figure. But anyways, it is not a problem, I think, because there are so many other choices for you if you want a figure of her, of this character. Moving on to the next one, we have Luo Tianyi, V Singer, from B-Box, Chinese brand, right? 30,000 yen or 1,300 Chinese yuan, yeah. Okay, out on 13th of December. China's version of Miku, or yeah, that is what it feels like to me actually. I can't give you guys any feedback on figures made by B-Box because it feels like they make only 5 figures a year. They don't release many stuff. This one looks amazing, but at the same time, it reminds me of those musical effect parts surrounding this figure of Barbara by Kotobukiya from Genshin Impact, and I did not like those parts. But as an entire package for what you're getting with all those extra parts surrounding the figure, plus that stairs base, I think 30,000 yen is pretty reasonable. I mean, Chinese figure brands in general, they don't really overcharge you. If that thing is really difficult to make or really complex, then they'll charge you accordingly. Moving on to the next one. Oh, this figure of Ai is already out. Wow. It felt that this figure just went on pre-order not too long ago and she is already out. But that is always a good thing. And I think Kadokawa got the timing just right because Season 2 is airing soon, right? I'm not sure it's January or April. Oh, and I loved the anime. I really loved it. I'm not sure if I will ever buy any figure from this anime, this franchise, but I certainly do like what Kotobukiya or what Kadokawa has done with this figure. This is still my favorite figure of Ai. I still prefer this one over the one made by Furyu, which is not yet out. I think it is because her dress are very colorful. Pink, magenta, purple, yellow. Oh, that is great color contrasting over there. If the anime ever gets a season 3 after season 2 ends, I know I'm jumping the gun a bit too soon over here. There is a likelihood that this figure would even get a re-release because Kadokawa has a history of doing this. They did this to Konosuba figures. Season 3 is coming out and just a month or two before the anime ends, yeah, they re-released a pair of Megumin and Aqua figures, and I wouldn't rule out the same thing for this figure of Ai. Moving on to the next one from Double SS Gridman, Takarada Rika. For some reason, she is insanely popular in Japan. Like a very simple figure of her by Fats Company would go up to 40,000 yen, and then Fats Company had to re-release it. Yeah, 16,000 yen all the way up to 40k plus. I have no idea. Like, to me, I think the taste of the Japanese audience when it comes to anime figures, it is rather eccentric in a way, rather unique and different from everyone else outside of Japan. With this brand over here, Our Treasure, they are like the new Wave Corporation, the new Beach Queens, right? I think 10 years ago, Wave Corporation did a series of 1x10 scale low-cost figures, the Beach Queen series, where every single character are in swimsuit. Now, Our Treasure is kind of doing the same thing now at 1x8 scale. Very nice. And they are not super detailed figures. They are just okay for what it is. and you tend to be able to find them for a discount after release, right? Do not pay for these simple figures at full price. But once again, this is Takaradarika we are talking about. I'm not sure if this bargain binning applies to this character specifically. So I would say trade this figure with caution, or maybe just skip this figure altogether. There is nothing special about this one. Just school swimsuit. Yeah. Moving on to the next one from Kumo Desu ga Nanika. Yeah. Seasonal anime, but I think it was 24 episodes, right? Which I did not watch. More like I tried watching it, did not like it. It is how it is, personal taste. Now, 1/7 skill Ariel by Amakuni and Hobby Japan, 24,000 yen before taxes, out on 8th of December. Very nice looking figure, but once again, not my kind of thing, right? Moving on to the next one, we have a Racing Miku version 2022 by Good Smile. So, I think Good Smile is very behind. They're extremely behind schedule over here. Like, we are now into year 2024 already. And at the end of 2023, they finally released the figure of version 2022. Yeah. The racing series has been lagging behind for quite a while, thanks to all those delays over the years, and they started accumulating, and in the end, everything gets pushed back. Like I said before, Good Smile is making way too many figures. They couldn't cope. And for this Racing Miko, this is actually one of the less attractive ones, if I had to be honest. Yeah. Must be the color scheme. I'm not sure if that lime green color flag over there goes really well with the blue color of this figure, but oh boy, Miko has really a nice pair of legs. I love her legs. Right? Like, the lower half of her body, the proportion is just sweet. I love it. Plastic God again, right? Plastic God again. I was trying to think of a solution to make this figure look better, but even I am a bit lost over here. I'm not sure how to design the base in a better way to get rid of the Plastic God over there. So I suppose that there is a limit on everything. Once again, I don't think this rod is as ugly as those plastic cylindrical poles you see with some figures, but I still don't like it, right? Okay, moving on to the next one. Okay, this one made it into one of my best figures of the year for 2023, but some people received this figure with some QC issues, which is quite a shame because I really like this figure of Meido Buso Javelin, and hopefully, if I ever had the opportunity to, I will purchase one, despite knowing for the fact that she may have QC issues on some copies. I still want one. That is how much badly I want this figure. This is not cheap, 30,000 yen, I think, yeah, 31k before taxes, 34k including taxes. That is really expensive. Moving on to the next one, we have Spy Classroom Lily from KD Call and Kadokawa. Now, this one is very expensive at 24,600 yen before taxes. How is this even worth 24,000 yen? No. No way. I do like how clumsy and careless she can be in the anime. I did watch the anime, enjoyed it, but there is no way this thing is worth 24,000 yen. At least the good news is El Coco is making a series of Spy Classroom figures, though they are sitting on a sofa for around 3,000 yen each at 1/7 scale. Yes, the quality won't be as good as this one, but there is no way this figure is worth 24,000 yen. Now, moving on to the next one, Vampire Felicia Bishoujo statue. This is a limited edition color by Kotobukiya. 15,000 yen out on 5th of December. Now, you're not going to get this one for 15,000 yen, right? I think she would cost a lot more because this one is an exclusive. The original color version right here. Yeah, this was the original color version, which I don't really like at all. I don't like the blue color over here. But this one, this is quite nice. This color scheme, I prefer this one. And that is all for genuine scale figures with an actual release date in December, which isn't many actually. Moving on to the next section, we take a quick look at genuine scale figures without a release date. They only have a release month. I have already selected the figures I want to cover, and as usual, I'm skipping past all those Be-Full and Insight figures which are impossible to put on screen without cropping into only the face, so much as well skip them. Now, these figures are already confirmed to be out in December. The first one here, Akizuki Kurumi from Bungaku Shoujo, original character, 1/6 scale by Marken Punch, which is a very new figure brand. So, oh, there are user pictures already, and this figure is cast-upable, right? So, maybe we'll look for a few pictures which are saved later. Okay, this one is going for 22,000 yen only, and then there's one guy over here, Jen the Hand, said that she has got a bit of a thigh stocking gap, but otherwise, she is gorgeous. Textures are fantastic. Oh no, butt gaps. Okay, we'll check out 2 user pictures over here. Okay, the texture on her sweater is very nice. I like those fine details over there. Face, no problem at all. This is a good positive impression for the upper half of the body. Okay. Okay, this is bad. This is bad. You look at that gap between the black stocking and the thigh. That is really bad. No. Don't buy this figure. Don't. This is unacceptable. Quite a shame though, because the upper half of the body is very decent. Yeah. Moving on to the next one. This is Girls Frontline again. UKM 2000 by Shibuya Scramble Figure and E-Stream. This one is going for 25,500 yen, which is actually exceptionally cheap for an E-Stream figure. But to me, the face on this figure is kind of odd. Now, this is how you do battle damage version or heavy damage version. You see all those bruises on her thigh over there? Right? Do we have any close-up pictures? Yeah. This is very nice. I like this kind of battle damage effect, and I think more figure brands should do something like this. But I'm not happy with the face of this figure. I'm not sure why, but I'm not happy. Right? Looks a bit derpy to me, the face. But overall, as an entire package with that huge base over there, that rock base, I do like it. I feel like the face could have been better, but outside of that, this is a very nice figure to have for 27,000 yen, really. Moving on to the next one from Jujutsu Kaisen, we have Sukuna. Okay, E-Stream as well. No, E-Stream figures, they are quite complicated. They are complex with more than often diorama bases, and it is incredible that they are able to release so many figures in one single month. This one is going for 33,000 yen. Oh, this is a nice photo. Once again, not the kind of stuff I collect, but this is a very nice figure of Sukuna indeed. Moving on to the next one, JJK again, we have Inumaki Toge, also by E-Stream. Man, they are releasing 3 or 4 high complexity figures in one single month. Oh, now we have metal rods supporting effect parts. I don't like that, but you know, I am so impressed by these 3 branches over here. I know it sounds absurd, but that looks really realistic. The broken tree branch over there. Tree trunk. That looks really realistic to me. I think this figure would still look fine even without the effect parts. Okay, and this one is going for 30,000 yen. Typical pricing for E-Stream stuff. Moving on to the next one. Shina My Hero by Phoenix. I think in the previous video I said I couldn't recall this figure. Yeah, I was correct. This is a full wheel figure going for 18,000 yen only. I said back then it was less than 20k. Yeah, transparent umbrella. This is the best figure of Shina My Hero out there because nobody cares to make expensive scale figures for seasonal anime stuff nowadays. So if you want something high quality, this is it. If you want something cheaper of this character, I think Furio Tanito has something for you, right? Moving on to the next one, okay. We have something from Lovely Project, a Chinese figure brand which is getting a lot of recognition for like really high quality, really amazing figures. And this figure of Nekomata Basti Gamer Shiro 1/6 scale is no exception. I couldn't show any pictures on screen. 33,000 yen for this figure is not expensive at all because she is on a gamer chair. And if you look at the comments in this figure's thread, and if you look at the comments below, right, I'm not going to scroll because I need to censor more stuff, a huge pain in the butt. Everyone who owns this figure are praising it. And take a look at the user pictures. There are already over 20 user pictures of this figure by now. Oh boy, this is really good figure. And Chinese brands, they really deserve a lot of respect nowadays for the quality work they do. Also something that I want, but even if I were to purchase, I would spend $300 for this thing. Now, 250 to $300. I can't even review it on YouTube, which really sucks, right? Moving on to the next one, we have a pair of Nier Automata figures, Johan number 2 Type B by Square Enix. Well, I'm not sure if this is a price figure or a low cost figure. But this thing is 10,000 yen at 1/5 scale. This is non-scale, but at 30 centimeters, which is massive. This is about 1/5 scale, right? And the quality control on this figure is not great. There are two versions, the blindfolded one and also the one that is not blindfolded. But since this is Square Enix, we all know the quality control is going to be a train wreck. And yeah, it did happen. Here we have a user picture. Look at all of the imperfections on her hair at the side over here. But then again, this is massive, 1/5 scale at 10,000 yen. Maybe I shouldn't be too harsh on Square Enix, right? But regardless of how this figure turns out, many people have already known by now, the seasoned veteran figure collectors, we all know that Square Enix always messes up their figures in some way. Yeah. Moving on to the next one from Shinkanomi. Oh, the Fruit of Evolution. This gorilla. I watched season 1. I haven't started season 2 yet, which has already finished airing. Saria, the gorilla from Furio and Phoenix, 1/7 scale, 20,000 yen. I'm not sure if I would pay 20,000 yen for what is basically a girl in plain white shirt. But if you like her, yeah, I think this is the only option you have. There are no other figures of her as far as I'm aware of. And yeah, of course, no user pictures yet. I can't see this figure being popular. I have no idea why Furio chose to make a figure of this character to begin with. Maybe there is demand in the domestic market in Japan. Yeah, nobody is talking about this figure at all in the comments section. This is going to be quite the poor seller. Moving on to the next one. Okay, from I Don't Want Pain. That's what I call this anime. I Don't Want Pain. Bofugri. Maple. This is one of the better looking Maple figures out there, but not cheap. 33,000 yen, which to me is grossly overpriced. But this is one of very few figures of Maple where you're getting her in this armor with that shield over there. Are there even any other options? I think there was one. There was one sitting pose which I did not like. This is the better one between the two, and I think Furio knows it very well that there is no competition, so they priced this one really highly at 33,000 yen. If you are a huge fan of this series, then you have to cough up 33k for this thing. But no, I don't see this as being worth 33k. I mean, this is comparable to many FGO figures out there which are averaging 25 to 30,000 yen, and that is before bargain binning. So no, this is definitely not worth that much. You see? Predictably, Ninin Game is asking this for 40,000 yen now. I told you guys that this there is not many figures of this character Maple in this armor, this shield. So this is going to become expensive regardless of what I say. And now I scroll down, yeah, the prices have gone up, right? This is so predictable, man. Okay, moving on to the next one. Watanabe Ayasa by Party Look, Chinese figure brand, 1/6 scale, original character. This is just JK, but I like the pose on this so much. This one is quite expensive, I think. Oh no, 22,000 yen is okay because you are getting another half figure. They are getting many extra parts to cast off this figure. You know, I love this after school H anime so much. Doing it in the classroom, I love it so much. Moving on to the next one, another Eastream figure. Wow, they're releasing so many stuff in December. I think they are trying to chase a KPI, I think. Like, their target on how many figures they need to release in 1 year, this must be chasing KPI. They are releasing 4 or 5 30,000 plus yen figures in December alone. Okay, from Gotobu no Hanayome movie, we have Nakano Nino floral dress version, which I believe I've talked about this figure like 5 times by now. Not a fan of it. I prefer the casual outfit ones by Good Smile for less than 20,000 yen each at 1/6 scale. Yeah, but I won't deny that this is a really beautiful figure. This magenta purple combination is really beautiful, just that it is not my kind of thing. Yeah. Moving on to the next one from Blue Lock, we have Nagi Seishiro by Phoenix and Furio, 22,000 yen, which is actually okay. Already released, right? This is already out. Historically, I have never been a fan of sports anime, but there are always exceptions. I watched all 4 seasons of Haikyuu volleyball anime, and I did enjoy MF Ghost, yeah, the recent street racing anime that just ended the season 1 in December. But back to this figure, Blue Lock. Well, are there anyone else making figures of Blue Lock? I don't think so. This is the only one, I think, by Furio. Moving on to the next one. Engage Kiss. You know, this anime, I loved it so much. I watched it twice already. 2 times over, 3 times over. Only 12 episodes. I think they needed a season 2. This one absolutely needed a season 2, but it was an original, I think. The anime is an original. It wasn't based on anything. And this anime felt like one of those harem shows you see from the early and mid 2010s, and I loved those kinds of anime. This one needs a season 2, and this Kisara is the only figure of her out there, I think. Yeah, there are no other options. By Phoenix and Furio at 1/7 scale, 27,000 yen. There are 2 user pictures. Now I'm curious, I need to have a look over here. This guy over here, he removed the plastic god supporting her sword. There's a plastic god which wasn't included in the official product pictures. Like I said, to all figure brands out there, please be upfront about all the extra hidden plastic gods you are including with the figure. It is not nice to surprise people like that. Okay, this figure, as you can see, the level of detail on the outfit, just flat black. Is this worth 27,000 yen? I don't think so, right? Furio has the notorious reputation of marketing their figures as something really premium, but the final product looks like this, which isn't that high quality, that detailed to begin with. And one of the Albedo figures made it into my notorious worst of the year list, right? They actually made 2 bad Albedo figures in 2023, but one of them was really bad. I call it the Seaweed Albedo. Yeah. And this Kisara, I don't think they did her any justice over here, unfortunately. Even though this is the only figure of her, I don't think it is worth paying 27k for this figure. Yeah. Moving on to the next one, Misaka Imoto. Okay, there was a lot of confusion on this figure back then. 1/7 scale, 20,000 yen. Now, that is more like it. 20k for this is acceptable. There were some people down in the comments below over here saying that this does not look like Misaka Mikoto, but they are missing the point. This is not Misaka Mikoto. This is one of her clones. Thousands of clones. And I think Furio replicated her face perfectly over here. Because these Misaka clones, they have this really dead fish eye look to their faces, right? Yeah. And if you have never watched any Toaru Kagaku no Railgun anime, there are 3 seasons. Go and watch it. You are missing out on something amazing. The Index series is quite controversial, right? Like, there were too many corners being cut, and I did not understand anything at all when I watched season 3. Like, what the heck am I watching, right? They cut off so many things from the light novel that I was so confused as someone who did not read the light novel. Like, what am I even watching? Which is quite a shame. Like, that anime, the season 3 was... The content was something for 30 plus to 40 episodes, and they had to reduce it to 24 episodes. Yeah. But that was not the same case for Railgun. The Railgun series was excellent. All 3 seasons. Go and watch it if you haven't done so. Moving on to the next one. This Aegir figure, which was covered in my best of the year video from Azalane by Egg Toys and Emon Toys. Okay, this thing is like, yeah, 115,000 Japanese yen. This is insane. I don't think I'll pay over 100,000 yen for this figure. Unless I win the lottery, of course. Which I never buy any lottery figures, tickets to begin with. So there is no chance of winning. Yes, I can understand the pricing on this thing. 100,000+ yen, right? And trust me, I would love to have it. I would really love to have it. But then for us mere mortals with, with barely any solid budget, there is a very... reasonable version over here for 24,000 yen, right? And this figure has been notoriously difficult to find, both pre-order and in stock after release. But we'll wait for a few more months and see if she becomes more common, because as far as I'm aware of, Chinese brand figures, they rarely become so rare right after release. Even for Apex Toys and their very highly acclaimed Ningguang and Keqing figures from Genshin Impact, despite so many positive things about those two figures and so many people bought them, they are not rare at all. Even a standard version over here, I think this is more than good enough if you don't have the space. Just by looking at this picture over here, I am so tempted. I feel like I want one. Yeah. 24k, maybe can get her for 20k in China, I think. I would actually consider this standard version of Air Gear. Moving on to the next one, another epic figure, but this one is kind of messy. Skadi, which was also covered in the previous upload. Skadi, this one is made by Mietos, and just like Air Gear earlier, this is notoriously difficult to find, both during pre-order and now after release. Already out, by the way. I wouldn't blame you if you prefer to settle for the standard version, right? Standard version, 24,000 yen as well. And the standard version comes with a really nice base too. I think this is more than good enough, right? This one is so over the top. I think it feels unnecessary at this point, and specifically for this figure, yeah, it looks really messy. Okay, and moving on to the next one, Azalane Shokaku 1x7 skill from Apex Toys, out already, 18,000 yen. This would be a bit too simple to my liking. And too much white color as well. Yeah, a bit generic, yet at the same time, I won't deny this is very photogenic. The pose is very photogenic. Just that who walks like that? That looks really painful. Who walks like that? Moving on to the next one, we have a pair of Azalane figures again, Amagi by Animaster. This is light armor version, 1,000 Chinese yuan, which is like 20,000 Japanese yen, right? This is the light version, and this is the heavy version. You know, when I buy figures, I go for the heavy version. I go for the complete version because it feels like I am not missing out on anything. I got the complete package. But, of course, like I said earlier, I don't like ship parts. If I were to do photography, sometimes I might prefer this one over the ship parts attached, right? So this is rough, and I think those ship parts would add another 10,000 yen. Yeah, 1,400 Chinese yuan would be closer to 30,000 yen. Once again, I don't think this figure is quite hard to find now after release, but give it a few months and it might become more common in Taobao at least. Yeah. Moving on to the next one, we have Kings of Glory Daji, 1x7 scale by Bear Panda and Morstrom. Okay, Bear Panda is now more well known for their low cost figures, which most of them are coming out in year 2024. This one is 21,000 yen before taxes. Science fiction. You know, I like those details on the hips so much. Yeah. Oh, this is really nice. Kings of Glory is some Chinese game title, I think, or manhua. But, oh, I really like this effect over here. Wow. Wow. I feel I'm looking at an Iron Man figure in some way. Does the base light up? If it does, this would be an amazing buy. Oh no, of course, this is all you get, I think. You're not getting that ring around her. But really not important, right? Maybe that is just a prop they used when they did photography on this figure over here. Moving on to the next one. Okay, Reverse Studio. We have Kinuga Satake Mushroom Girls series. Original art, of course, 18,000 yen before taxes. Very unique concept over here. Not my kind of thing, of course, right? Not my kind of thing, but a very unique concept. Some of you may like this one. 18,000 yen is not too bad for what you're getting, but this is not a big figure, of course. And the last 1x6 scale figure over here, I'm giving this one special attention, you see. I don't want to cover inside and be full figures because, yeah, they are often completely exposed, right? And I can't even put it on screen except the face. But this is one of very few inside figures that looks amazing. But this is one of very few insect figures that looks very amazing and promising. But I'm afraid the final product may not be as good as shown by these product pictures, right? There are 1x4 scale and 1x6 scale options. 1x4 is around 27,000 yen before taxes, and 1x6 scale is 18,000 yen, which is, yes, very affordable, but beware of what you're getting it into if you're buying their stuff, right? I think you guys know that already by now. And that is all for this section on figures, scale figures with no proper release date, but they are out in December. Moving on to the next section, what do we have over here? 1x4 scales, right? We'll go through 1x4 scales very quickly. Not too many this month if you exclude the B-Full and inside stuff. The first one we have Villeta Neo. I think this is a supporting character in Code Geass by Freeing and Mega House. Of course, if it is Bandai stuff, Bandai characters, Mega House will get involved. Villeta Neo, 36,000 yen out on 26th of December. Yeah, not a typical bunny figure I see. So this is for Code Geass fans, I suppose. There are not many figures of this character out there. Yeah. Not a typical bunny figure, but not something I like. Maybe because the pose is a bit too generic, too simple, I suppose. Moving on to the next one, Shirai Kuroko. That naughty sister, younger sister of Misaka. Naughty LGBT sister, younger sister. Okay, I'm actually surprised it took them this long to release this figure of Misaka, the younger sister, at 1x4 scale. This one has stockings, so obviously this is a first release, not a second release. Yeah, it took them way too long to release this one. I do like her actually, Kuroko. I like her. I think it is down to the pose. I like the pose on this one. Moving on to the next one. Oh, Kanade Suzu. Everyone loves her hips, right? 1x4 scale from Ayakashi Triangle. 35,000 yen. This figure is going to be very popular, at least in Japan. Will I buy one? No, not really. Not really. I'm trying to avoid collecting Freeing Bunny girls unless they are very unique in their own ways. Otherwise, I would just skip them. Unless I can get the quality reject ones for dirt cheap, then I won't even bother. Moving on to the next one. Okay, this is Square Enix Masterline. Let's hope you guys don't mess up this figure. This is very expensive, 1x4 scale resin statue, going for 240,000 yen, like the ultimate Full Metal Alchemist figure, right? I mean, I can certainly understand why this is 240k. This is resin and 1x4 scale after all. I would say the price is normal. The only concern I have is that this is made by Square Enix, right? And if you don't like what you're looking at, to me, I don't like this armor over here. It looks like stone to me. It looks like yeah, it doesn't look like metallic. This does not look metal at all. It looks like stone to me, and perhaps this is not a resin figure. This is a polystone statue, which I am not a fan of. Polystone is even more fragile than resin, right? But not an issue. There are many options in the third-party market for Full Metal Alchemist. The next one here, native, yeah, binding creator's opinion, right? 1x4 scale mature content stuff, which I have to heavily crop this figure's picture. And what does the figure look like? This is the Asian squat, the Asian defecation pose. Here, the locals, we call it the pangsai pose. Pangsai means to defecate, right? Or to yeah, okay. So just by saying these 2 or 3 words, I think you can already imagine the pose. So go and check out the figure yourself, out in December. Moving on to the next one, we have Senran Kagura Shinobi Master Yumi, 1x4 scale bare leg version by Freeing. So this is sort of a re-release, but for this figure, even with bare legs, I think she does not look too bad, right? So I think this figure looks fine without those white color stockings. I think the original was white stockings. This still looks great, just that the color scheme on this character, not a fan of it. Very pale, very desaturated. Next one over here from Bunny Suit Planning, Sophia F. Shering. We have a lot of figures of her coming out in year 2024 for some reason. This is a Freeing B style 1x4 scale. 40k, wow. not your typical bunny figure as well. At least the outfit design on this is quite unique. And if you were to pick up this one just solely for looking a bit different from the rest, I won't blame you. The color is very nice, the teal turquoise color in combination with the blonde hair. Very nice combination. Moving on to the next one. Okay, Kurosaki Mia. I have the outer 1x7 skill actually. This is Barelic version. Of course, this came out before in the past. She looked good with Barelics. I think this one for Mia still looks fine really. 25,000 yen is bargain for 1x4 skill. Really up to you. Moving on to the next one over here. We have Nanamiki Chiaki. Right, next one from Danganronpa 2, we have Nanami Chiaki, one of those few unique bunny girl figures. Like, she is a bit different from the rest. And I really like whatever she's wearing on her head with those bunny ears. I really like this one a lot. Yes, colors on this one is also a bit monotonous, but a bit different from a typical bunny girl figure. I like it. 24,000 yen. Quite a steal. This is a steal at 24k. Moving on to the next one, we have Christina 1x4 skill original characters selection. Now for a 1x4 skill Ecchi figure, this is a bit generic. Yeah. But some of you love this blue color Sukumizu, right? I understand that. But to me, this blue color Sukumizu, they look better on characters with a flatter chest compared to something like this. 36,000 yen is not cheap, but then again you can cast off this figure, so I suppose the price is reasonable. Yeah, very long legs for this figure. Moving on to the next one, we have Komi Shoko 1x4 skill bunny version, 35,000 yen. Now with this figure of Komi Shoko, it all boils down to the face. If they get the face done right, feel free to buy it. Right? The product pictures promise a lot over here. Like, the face looks really nice. And I think we already have a lot of user pictures for sure. 35 of them, you see. Because she is popular. Okay, we have one close-up picture over here. I'm not sure if I like the face though. Like, it is not as nice looking as the official product pictures, I'm afraid. Compared to this picture over here. Yeah, I think the paint work on the lips over here is nicer. Like, you can see there's some lipstick over there or something like that. The lips are more well defined. But this one. Yes. The lipstick, the pink color gloss lipstick is missing. Now, this may not be a problem for 1x7 skill, for example, but for 1x4 skill, it is starting to become very obvious. Freeing is cutting corners so obvious over here, right? I can't say I would recommend this figure at all. Now that I've seen this, power was way worse, which is why Chainsaw Man 1x4 skill power made it into my worst figure of the year award. This one is far from the worst, but I don't like it at all. The corners that has been cut over here is unacceptable, I think. Unfortunately, this is very common practice. This is the bad thing about the figure industry. This pic is not high resolution enough. Like, I can't zoom in. Moving on to the next one, another Senran Kagura Shinobi Master figure, also Barelic Bunny version. This is Yozakura, 25,000 yen, so these are bargain purchases. This pose looks really painful, man. I know, anime logic, right? But I'm surprised that she isn't breaking her back, posing like that for photos at least. Not a fan of the color scheme, just like the other character earlier. Moving on to the next one, Remo Shime, an icon. An anime icon. Hundreds of figures of her have came out in the past. And once again, we have the Asian squad pose over here going for 36,000 yen. Between Remo Shime and Kano Uncho, which one I like better? I would say Kano Uncho. But if you buy Ikitozen stuff, you need both. 36,000 yen is a tough pill to swallow, but still worth it for Ikitozen collectors. I mean, there are not many Ikitozen figures anymore nowadays compared to just 5 years ago. Now you're getting stuff like this, might as well pick one up if you loved the series. It is a classic which I remember and I still love fondly even today. Yeah, it was from the mid-2000s. From mid-2000s, and then there was a new season sometime around the mid-2010s. But the later seasons were not as great, unfortunately. The next one over here, we have something super expensive because of handcrafted yukata cloth or kimono cloth. This is Usada Pecora we are talking about. So this is going to be really popular despite the price point of 180,000 yen, right? Now, Usada Pecora and these outfits over here, they go really well together. And this is really nice. Unlike last month, where it was Misaka Mikoto in this traditional outfit, and it felt like a mismatch to me because when I think about Misaka Mikoto, I think about science fiction and something futuristic, not something traditional. But for Usada Pecora, this is a good match. So if you have 180k yen to burn, this is a good buy, really. Moving on to the last 1x4 scale, this is a licensed resin statue from PJ Studio, Tsuchimi Kado Kurumi from Naraka Blade Point. Yeah, this looks like something I would cover in my OSGK weekly resin figure news. And this thing is 700 or 800 in US dollars, right? Yeah. Not my kind of thing, of course, and this is one of those ultimate statues, right? How many figures like this can you buy? Maximum 3 or 5. If you have a lot of space, you'll just run out of space very quickly if you buy too many of these 1x4 scale massive statues. Yeah, and that is all for 1x4 scales. We shall move on quickly to the next section, which is low cost figures, right? Pop-up rate, Furio Tanital, and others if any, I suppose. Bandai Figuarts Zero is part of it. Yeah, I'll cover the Bandai Figuarts Zero as well. Oh boy, this recording is going on for quite a while. I'm starting to feel tired talking non-stop for so long. The first one over here, this is Pyapro Characters Hatsune Miku 1x7 scale by Kaleidos, Chinese figure brand if I'm not mistaken. Yes, 230 Chinese yuan only, Chinese figure brand. So this is about 5,500 yen or so. Yeah, if you are a Miku collector, no harm picking one up, right? We don't have user pictures yet because she just came out on 31st of December. Moving on to the next one, we have a few pop-up rates. Emilia Watson by Good Smile from Hololive. Now this VTuber is playing Inspector Gadget, or is it Sherlock Holmes? It feels like she's playing either one of these characters over here, but I do like the character design quite a bit, and I'm curious on how they're going to get the paintwork done right on her outfits over here. Very intricate details for a low cost figure. No user pictures yet because she just came out during Christmas for 5,000 yen. I wouldn't really demand too much. If they can get the face done right, I would say go ahead and buy it, right? There are no other figures of this character yet. Moving on to the next one, we have, Red Pyramid thing from Silent Hill 2. Now, this is for those of you who love the game, I suppose. I don't play Silent Hill. I love first-person shooter games, right? I have been replaying Crysis for quite a while now. Crysis 2, Crysis 3. We mastered chasing the achievements in Steam. But not something I would buy, of course. Moving on to the next one, what do we have here over here? Iwato Suzume. Now, this is a figure I would love to have just for photography purposes, but outside of that, nothing special about this figure, right? But this is a good buy. It is a good buy if you loved the movie. After all, she's only 4,800 yen or so. Next, we have Yano Mitsuki from Yuri at Work, I think. Seasonal anime. I reached episode 4, I gave up. I did not like it. So this one is already out on Christmas. A good buy if you were a fan of the anime. For me, not so much. Up next, we have Gone Freaks from Hunter Cross Hunter. So for those of you really rich people, you can go for the freeing 1x4 skill, which was like 55 or 60,000 yen because of effect parts. For us normal human beings with normal wallets, this is it. Right, I think this is not a bad buy. For something this simple, I think pop-up rates is still the way to go. And the next one over here from the same series, Killua Zoldyck. Same command. These are figures for us normal human beings who can't afford the 1x4 skill. Next one. Okay, Shinigami-chan from Chou Tante Jikenbo Raincoat, a game, right? I don't like this character design. I think Kotobukiya made a 1x7 skill figure of her for 122 or 23k. I feel like I'm looking at something from Danganronpa in terms of character design, but I like Danganronpa a lot more. This one not so much. And this outfit, not a very detailed one actually. They are depending on decal work for this outfit over here. Next one. From the same series, Coco Head Yuma. What kind of name is Coco Head Yuma? Coco Head. Oh, Good Smile is so going to mess up the paintwork on those gold colored trims on her outfit. I can already see it, all the paint bleeding happening. Not like you have a choice, right? Moving on to the next one. Maho Tsukai no Yome Season 2. Okay, I have downloaded a copy of this anime as well. I have everything in my hard disk, by the way. I have like 30 terabytes of hard disk actually. So I have everything. Is this anime worth watching? I have heard a lot of good things about this anime. A lot of people praised it. But I just couldn't bring myself to watch it. And this is Hattori Chise from 4,800 yen as well. Seasonal anime stuff. If like you are not too invested, right? You're not too invested in the anime characters, like you do like it, but it is not your absolute favorite. Pop-up rate is still not a bad option, regardless of all the unsavory things I've said about this product line. Are there any user pictures? 5 of them. Okay, we have a very nice close-up picture over here. Well, feels like price figure quality, but at the same time not too bad, right? This is okay. This is acceptable. Moving on to the next one. Okay, Alias Ainsworth from the same series as well. Of course, this feels like more of a incomplete set syndrome situation. If you bought that girl earlier and you don't buy this shiphead guy, yeah, it feels like something is missing. But for me, I would still settle for only the girl and forget about this guy over here. After all, I'm a cheapskate in some way. Moving on to the next one. Danganronpa 1-2 Reload Nanami Chiaki. I still like her Fats Company figure a lot. I think that one is quite rare by now. The one by Fats Company. This is quite a unique figure of her for including that teddy bear over there, that Monokuma over there. This is a good buy, just for being a bit more unique than usual, right? I wonder if they connect her left leg to the back side of that Monokuma, because even though that is not something very nice, like you have something sticking out or a hole in her leg, but that is actually the better way of doing things to prevent the figure from leaning in the future. No user pictures, unfortunately. Very unfortunate, because I think this looks great for pop-up rate. Came out on 14th December. Came out 2 or 3 weeks ago and no one has the figure yet. Okay, moving on to the next one. I'm rushing things through already. Pop-up rate L. Aqua from Konosuba. I like Megumin a lot more. I think Megumin came out last month. This month we have Aqua. But if you bought Megumin, you will need Aqua as well. But I really like the paintwork over here. See some shading work on her hair. I wasn't expecting this for pop-up rate actually. There, Megumin. At least in these product pictures, it looks like there is some shading work on her hair. User pictures, we have some of them. Okay, there is actually shading over here. It is very, very subtle. It's not very obvious compared to those more expensive figures, but there is a very light amount of shading over here. Like here, the forehead, we have light blue, and then here at the very ends, we have some dark blue. Yeah, not bad at all. for 8,000 yen. Moving on to the next one, we have Dr. Stone Asagiri Gen from Tenitol. I heard that season 1 was okay and season 2 was train wreck, was really bad, but I did not watch it at all. This is by Tenitol. Nice base though. This is not a bad buy really, if you loved Dr. Stone. Up next, we have Nakano Miku Tenitol series. This is miniskirt yukata version. So they bastardized this traditional outfit called yukata and made a modern version, but it looks great, right? It looks great. This looks really good for a low-cost figure, not gonna lie. I will stay loyal to the Good Smile 1/6 scale version. That's my favorite series of figures from this anime. Up next, what do we have? Up next, we have 3 figures from Figo Arts Zero. Though I'm not sure if I can call this figure of Kaido from One Piece as affordable because this thing is 15,000 yen. But then again, if you imagine this thing in 1/7 scale, that would be over 30,000 yen. So I suppose this is sort of low cost, right? Very detailed, but not the kind of thing I collect. Moving on to the next one, we have something from Hime Yaiba. What's her name again? Genya. Shinazugawa Kenya, Figo Arts Zero. This one is 9,000 yen. Okay, so this may be a small figure, but the details and the shading on his outfit is quite amazing over here. Yeah, not a bad purchase. If you want something a bit better than price figures, pop-up parades, but you're not willing to pay 20,000+ yen for some of the more expensive scale figures, then this is a good middle ground to consider. And the last one over here from Dragon Ball Z, we have Goku no To Vegeta. Oh, 10,000 yen. Specifically Dragon Ball, I mean third party site. On the third party, there are so many cheap yet large scale figures that it is a bit difficult for me to recommend Figo Arts Zero for any Dragon Ball stuff. But in the end, it is also a matter of supporting genuine stuff, right? You want to support the studios behind all these anime and games, then naturally you go for licensed stuff. So that is up to you to decide actually. Not to mention, not everyone has the space for giant figures. And that is all for the low cost figures section for December. The last section remaining, re-releases, right? These figures came out in the past before. Now they're getting re-releases. We'll just go through them very quickly. The first one, Haruno Sakura under Naruto Gales series by Mega House. This came out in year 2017 for 9,300 yen. Now we release for 15,000 yen. That is a huge price jump, at least in yen, but then when you convert it to your local currency, the price increase is probably just by 10-15%, right? It is not as significant as it appears. Not a bad looking figure of her, really. Simple figure for 15k. Moving on to the next one, another Mega House figure, right? Yup. Mega House, One Piece Hina from Mega House. This came out in 2019 for almost 12,000 yen. Now re-released in 2023 for 18,000 yen. Wow! The very heavy shading paint work on the outfit is very attractive over here. Yeah, part of it is shading, the other part of it is from studio lighting. But that is very nice paint work. Moving on to the next one, what we have? Blue Archive, Asagi Mutsuki 1/7 scale by Plum. Plum is sort of a mid-figure brand. Like they are not the best, far from the best. They are around B or B minus, the grade I give to them. Around B minus. Occasional QC issues, but they make stuff that people want to buy, right? And this is one of them. If this one becomes cheap enough, I might consider. Not my main priority, even though I am collecting Blue Archive stuff. I really love her military uniform. I love this uniform. I will come back and go through the user pictures later to see what she looks like. And if the figure is any decent, I'll put it into my wish list and purchase it in future. Moving on to the next one. Okay, what is this thing? Princess Principal Angel, Jozo Art Collection 1/7 scale by Medicos Entertainment. No idea what this thing is. Came out in year 2018 for 15k, now 17k. Okay, Must be from a game, judging by the character design. It has to be a game, but I have no idea what this thing is. And I don't like her hairstyle either. Okay, moving on to the next one. From Evangelion, we have Shinji. Wow! Arguably, one of the most annoying male protagonists in any science fiction or mecha anime gets a re-release, moreover in this black and white color version because people actually buy them. Came out in year 2022 and then now again 1 year later for the same price of 13,000 yen. I just don't understand why people are snatching this thing. I wouldn't buy this one. Okay. Next one, what do we have? From Konosuba Aqua. Yeah, just half an hour ago, I mentioned that Kadokawa is really re-releasing stuff, right? And I mentioned Aqua and Megumin. This is it. Okay, this is Aqua Sneaker Bunko 30th anniversary version. If not mistaken, this is based on a cover of manga or light novel. Yeah, manga cover, I think. This is based on a cover. This is totally cover art style. This is not what she looks like in the anime, but still very attractive. Came out in 2019 for 14,800 yen. Now there is a 5,000 yen increase. Still, for under 20,000 yen, this is not a bad buy, really. Check out user pictures before buying. And of course, the next one is Megumin, once again based on cover art. Yeah. Very different from what we saw in the anime. And whether you like this version or the anime version, I guess that is completely subjective. Different art style, right? Same thing came out in year 2019 for 16,000 yen. And now there's a 3,000 yen price bump. Metal rod again at the back. Moving on to the next one, we have, the beloved lolly of the Fate universe, Ilias Viel von Einsburn by KD Cole and Kadokawa wedding bikini version. A concept which I never understood. What wedding bikini? Okay, this one came out in year 2021, 2 years ago for 15k. We released in December 2023 for the same price. Oh, that is very generous of Kadokawa for not increasing the price. If you love child marriage, this figure is for you. Though she is already 18 years old, if I'm not mistaken. If you follow the timeline, right, the latest timeline, she is already adult. Moving on to the next one. This figure we released like 2 or 3 times already. Shiro from No Game No Life by Kotobukiya. This was the very first Shiro figure that was released many years ago. But it is far from my favorite because since then, Fat Company, Good Smile, and eStream has released way better versions of Shiro already, right? And this version by Kotobukiya is becoming the budget option because back then she was released for only 11,000 yen and now in 2023 she is going for only 13,000 yen, which is very low cost. Though this is a good buy if you are on a budget. This is still a good buy, just that this is a very small figure. Very small, yeah. And the last 2 figures for today are from Yaha Ore. That is what I call it. Basically an anime about philosophy in human relations. It is a lot deeper than it appears. Okay, this is Ishiki Iroha 1/8 skill by Kotobukiya. Came out in 2020 for 9,800 yen only. Still affordable today at 12,000 yen. And Kotobukiya, please stop taking pictures of figures with that kind of background. This looks terrible, right? I mean the photo and the background, not the figure itself. 12k for those of you on a budget. I love that face expression, so buy it if you like her. And of course, also from Yaha Ore, we have Yuigahama Yui, which until today my favorite figure of Yuigahama Yui is the one by Max Factory. The Halloween outfit. I think this might be a surprise to some of you, but yeah, that is my favorite version of her. This one by Koto came out in year 2020 and 2021. For 9,800 yen, now 2 years later, 12,000 yen. Right? And that is all for figures released in December 2023. Which one are you buying? Which came out from in December last month? Let me know down in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please give this video a like, a thumbs up, and please subscribe to this channel for more anime figure content every week. Until then, I'll see you guys again very soon. Goodbye.